Hello, happy Thursday. How are you all doing other than melting or walking outside and instantly being covered in sweat because your face is melting off your face with the heat and humidity? Not complaining because it's not snowing. So, yeah. Flashman, I'm great because I'm inside and I'm in the AC. So, I'm good. I hope you are doing well. Hey, Gabby. Hey, AJ. Hey. I should say, hey, Gabby. Hey. That's what I should say. So, but I, I can't because I get in my own head and there's that. Happy Thirsty Thursday. You're not thirsty anymore because it's after 5, it's 6. So, you should be a couple. And Flashman is hungry per the usual. I just had a salad and delicious. Great. Probably wasn't healthy because I had chicken and ranch, everything, cheese, all the stuff a salad that's good for you probably shouldn't have. And it was fried chicken, not grilled chicken. Um, so just want everyone to know that we will, don't you worry, be back to Betty. We're going to finish Betty up. We're going to take a little break from Betty. Won't be very long, just a few days. Then we'll get back to the defense that she and her defense attorney have been putting on, and it's been so bad. It, that was he a doctor? I think he was a doctor. That we watched on Tuesday was bad. He was bad. He was, I didn't like him. I didn't like his arguments. I didn't like that he didn't. I get it that he didn't see Betty, like he never treated Betty. He never counseled Betty. He never saw Dan. But it's like he didn't even talk about Betty. He just talked in general terms about general people. And it just didn't have anything to do with Betty other than just, I don't know, trying to give her an excuse, I guess. Whatever. But we're going to go and we're going to watch Shanda Vander Ark trial because next week she is supposed to have a hearing to see if she gets a new trial. She's not going to get a new trial. If she gets a new trial, well, I don't want to say I do anything crazy because then if she got a new trial, I'd have to do it. So I'll be shocked. How about that? If she gets a new trial, I will be shocked. She is citing that during this trial that we're going to watch, that she was not competent. She was. And that she was catatonic. I didn't see her in her cell where maybe she was catatonic. I'm just going to say I don't think she was catatonic. It just so, and I know like it involves a minor, and these trials are hard for people, but I can assure you one thing: the judge in this trial is amazing. I really, really like him. I really wish I could see him do more trials. He makes sure, and we'll hear him even address it with the attorneys. And I think he addresses it with the prosecutor pretty early on, that there will be 0 photos of Timothy, who was the victim in this incident, in this case, shown. There are no photos of him shown. Even when he was alive, there's zero. He does not, the judge will not allow it. There's no, I think we get to see some of the body cam video, but again, there's nothing of, I can't remember if it's videos or pictures. There's nothing of him. There's, hey, Annabelle. There's testimony that it's difficult to hear because it's a difficult, horrible incident that happened. Well, I don't even want to say incident. It was a period of time. But just so that you can rest assured, I guess, a little bit that you don't have to worry about any graphic images or anything like that. You will only hear the people testifying. Shanda does take the stand in her own defense. Yeah, I don't know. I covered, this was the second live trial that I covered. It is still in my top 2, if not top 3 videos since then, since 2023. And I can tell you, I have changed so much in how I think, how I feel about certain things, how I stream. I hope it's better. So I really hate those videos from 2023 are just always staring at me in the face. Like, oh my gosh, I have never even been able to go back and watch them because I probably would just click delete on my YouTube account and be done and walk off into the sunset, and that'd be it. So if you've watched those first videos, you're going to think, I hate this prosecutor. I don't hate this prosecutor. I like this prosecutor. I like him a lot. I had unfortunately had at that time, before I started streaming, had seen some trials with some really, really bad prosecutors. They did some shady stuff. I didn't like it. And it angered me. So I didn't like prosecutors at that time that were doing things like that. And this guy here who does amazing, kind of, he didn't give anything, I didn't see anything bad about him. I just didn't like prosecutors at that time. But also this poor defense attorney, a lot of people really, really said a lot of bad things about him. He was doing a job with a client that I don't think is very easy to work with, and he had nothing to work with. So, and I will maintain this, if the worst of us cannot get a fair trial and a good defense, the best of us won't be able to either. So everybody that's arrested is not guilty. Everybody that's charged is not guilty. Everybody that's found guilty is not guilty. So we need to make sure that everyone is doing everything on the up and up and not pulling any punches. And I can tell you that happens in this trial. This prosecutor pulls 0 punches. He doesn't have to, for one thing, but and he's like the judge. Like, I would love to see him try more trials just because I like him. So, you know, it's I don't want to say it is what it is. We've watched some really bad trials on here. This was the first trial that I've watched. The ironic thing is I watched it alone. It was at Christmas time in 2023. It was December. I had just started my channel. I just saw it one day. I was like, what the heck is this? I had no idea. Let's stream it. That sounds like a great idea. Then I was like, oh man, what did I get into? But now I'm in it. And for a long time, I was the only person that had day 2 for some reason. And I just remember like my phone started going crazy because I started getting all these notifications. I'm like, what happened? What did I do? And it was for this trial. And it's never stopped. So I'm not complaining about that at all. It brought a lot of you to my channel and to me. Like I've been able to get to know a lot of you. Um, but but at the others, there's a love-hate relationship with it because at the flip side, I used to always want to do it over. So this gave me a chance to do that. And so this, we should be able to do all the days up to the day of her hearing. And then hopefully they'll stream that. I don't know why they wouldn't. I hope they do. And then we can put her away forever where she belongs. So this trial did happen in December 2023. Shanda Vander Ark is charged with open unaliving and child abuse in the death of her 15-year-old son, Timothy. I had to pull this up because I was like, what the heck does open unaliving mean? So this says open, they don't use unaliving, obviously. Open unaliving is a legal term that refers to a charge where the specific degree of unaliving, such as first or second, is not initially specified, allowing for further determination during the judicial process. This approach provides flexibility in prosecuting homicide cases, ensuring all evidence and circumstances are thoroughly considered. Interesting. I didn't catch that the first time around. So it's not just a Michigan thing where this takes place, but I thought that was kind of interesting. The jury gets to ask questions in this trial, which we all love. So we have that, and we get to fast forward through a lot because I went through and got the breaks, and any little part that I can fast forward through to gain some extra time, I'm going to. I'm not sure about exactly how the audio is on this, so if I need to bump it up, I've got it boosted to about halfway. So if I need to turn it up anymore, let me know. Thank you, Gabby. It's too hot to wear my hair down. Too hot. Yeah, jury questions are amazing. I love them. If you've never seen a trial with jury questions, this won't be the best one that we've ever watched with them, but it'll just give you an idea of what's going on. So I have started it at the opening statements, and that's what we're getting ready to do. So let's roll.
Okay, with that, Mr. Roberts, you may make opening statement. You want the TV angled?
No, not yet. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, on behalf of the people of the state of Michigan, I want to thank you for your time and attention to these matters. We certainly had some lighthearted moments yesterday during the jury selection process, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as Mr. Johnson and I repeatedly told you yesterday, and this is not in any way an overstatement of this, the facts and circumstances here are just simply horrific. I wish that I could spare you from some of the details in this case, but I cannot. Quite simply, it is the position of the people of the state of Michigan that Shanda Vander Ark committed the crime of first-degree felony murder when, during the course of physical and mental abuse in the first degree of her child, Timothy Ferguson died. As we referenced many times yesterday, unfortunately, as part of this process, you will see some very graphic photographs, images that will not easily leave your mind. But I don't want you to focus on just those photographs, as I repeatedly told you yesterday. I want you to look at the entire picture here. I will tell you this, the entire picture is just as horrific. The average 15-year-old male weighs 132 pounds. and is 68 inches tall. At the time of his death, Timothy Ferguson was 68 inches tall. At the time of his death, Timothy Ferguson weighed 69 pounds. How does this happen? How does a 15-year-old child die as a result of malnutrition? How is a 15-year-old child 63 pounds under the average weight? How is a 15-year-old child in literally the 0 percentile for weight? How? The how of this begins to unfold on July 6th of 2022 when police officers from the Norton Shores Police Department are dispatched to 4788 Marshall Road in Norton Shores. The first officer on scene is there. ProMed's already on scene, and they've already found Timothy Ferguson deceased in the basement level of that home. You're going to see photographs of that home. It's a bi-level home, and Timothy Ferguson is in the basement of that home. By the time the officer arrives, Timothy Ferguson is deceased and has been deceased for some time. It's immediately obvious to ProMed, just as it is to Officer Stefanich, who you will hear from this morning, that Timothy Ferguson is severely malnourished. Now, there's another layer of mystery that is discovered the next day as it relates to the cause of death of Timothy Ferguson. And you will hear from the medical examiner that in addition to the severe malnourishment that caused his death, Timothy Ferguson also showed signs of hypothermia. How does a 15-year-old child in Michigan in July have hypothermia? The pieces of that puzzle start to unfold as the police investigation does. Officer Stefanich begins to notice, in addition to the shocking image of Timothy Ferguson deceased, other things unusual in the home. There's leg cuffs in the basement. There's cameras everywhere. There's hot sauce in the bathroom. Upstairs in the upper level of the home, there's locks on the refrigerator and the freezer. More cameras, motion sensors, alarms, everywhere in the house. And in the basement, as if part of some demented version of Harry Potter, there's a small closet, again, with an alarm on the door. Inside that closet, a blue tarp just laying on the floor and a small box. That room, as officers later come to learn, is called the small room. That was Timothy Ferguson's bedroom. That's where he was forced to sleep. The leg cuffs, also for Timothy Ferguson. The cameras, also for Timothy Ferguson, to watch his every movement. His every movement monitored by his mother on those cameras. The bathroom camera. Who puts a camera in a bathroom? The bathroom camera is literally a motion tracking camera, and the officer notices as soon as he walks into the bathroom that the camera starts to follow his motion. Again, hot sauce in the bathroom. Why is there hot sauce in the bathroom? These are all questions at the time the police officers have, but they have no explanation for most of it. All they know is that Timothy Ferguson died as a result of malnutrition. As is obvious to anybody that would just see him, look at him. So Officer Stefanich starts to ask some questions. And Ms. Vander Ark says, well, he's been on a hunger strike for the last couple of weeks. He hasn't been eating. And I noticed last night he wasn't eating really good. So I made him some toast with some peanut butter or some butter on it. And I made him eat it. And then he went to bed. And then more detectives become involved in the investigation. And more statements coming out from Ms. Vander Ark about some of the unusual things in the home. The leg cuffs. Oh, those are Paul Ferguson. Paul Ferguson is the older boy that lives in the house. He's 19 at the time. And you're going to hear from Paul Ferguson. And I'm just going to tell you right now, you're not going to like Paul Ferguson. I don't like Paul Ferguson. Paul Ferguson was a contributing factor to the death of his brother. What you will come to learn is that what Paul Ferguson was the strong arm for the defendant. When she wanted a punishment inflicted upon Timothy, she used Paul to do it. And Paul did it. And he will tell you that he did those things. And he will tell you he's remorseful about those things, as he should be. Because the mental and physical abuse that those two individuals inflicted upon Timothy Ferguson over the course of multiple months, from February of 2022 until the time of his death in July, caused his death. For all intents and purposes, Timothy Ferguson was a prisoner in his own home. He never went to a doctor. He never went to school. The only time he was allowed to leave the house was if he was being punished and he had to run up and down the stairs in the backyard where nobody could see him, or walk the dog in the backyard, again, where nobody could see him. You don't have to take my word for it. You will hear in the text messages between Paul Ferguson and Shanda Vander Ark the extent of the horrors they inflicted upon Timothy. You will hear about his every movement being monitored by motion sensors and alarms on his body, multiple alarms on his body. Cameras watching his every move, making sure he did not go upstairs without permission, making sure he did not go to the bathroom without permission. And when he went to the bathroom, he got 1 minute if he had to pee and 2 minutes if he had to poop. Some of you might already be saying to yourself, this sounds too incredible to be true. Again, you don't have to take my word for it. You will hear the text messages. You will see right there in print, right there before your very eyes, everything that I'm telling you. His access to food denied. Locks on the freezer, locks on the refrigerator, alarm on the pantry door, alarms on the door to the small room where he was forced to sleep. Now, interestingly, when we talk about that alarm on the small room, you're going to see the photographs of that alarm. When the police are there the first day, they take photographs of the scene. And as the investigation progresses, they go back the next day. Strangely, that alarm has been removed. The police get the text messages and start to go through the text messages, and a broader picture begins to emerge of what happened to Timothy, especially in those final hours leading up to his death, in the early morning hours of July 6th. And what they find is just as shocking as the fact that Timothy died as a result of malnutrition. For roughly the last 9 hours that Timothy Ferguson was alive, he was in an ice bath. First monitored by Paul, and then by Shanda, Timothy Ferguson was forced to lay in an ice bath for 9 hours. Already severely malnourished, already bone thin, forced to be in this bathtub. Again, first monitored by Paul, watched by Shanda from those cameras, and then by her when Paul goes to work. Timothy is too weak to even move on his own volition at that point. That's where the hypothermia comes into play. The medical examiner, puzzled at first, how can there possibly be hypothermia in a child of 15 years old at this time of year? Well, when you spend 9 hours in an ice bathtub, that's what happens. You'll see the ice maker in the home where the ice came from for his ice baths. And again, you don't have to take my word for it. You're going to hear it all in the text messages. And Ms. Vander Ark, again, when she talks to the police, she says, well, he's just been on a hunger strike for the last 2 weeks. And I didn't know how bad it was getting until last night, and I made him a piece of toast. It's not true. And again, you don't have to take my word for it. On July 13th, almost 3 weeks before Timothy Ferguson passes away, Paul, in a moment of clarity, in a moment of sympathy for his brother, sees his brother without his shirt on and sends his mother a picture. Now, he's already rake thin at that point. Nothing more than skin and bones. And I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that any rational human being looking at that photograph would say, oh my God, we have got to do something to help this child. What's Miss Vander Ark's response? Okay, give him some bread. A couple days after that, we learn what the hot sauce is for. Make sure you give him the bread with the hot sauce on it. Make sure he eats 4 slices of bread with hot sauce on it. And if he does that and waits 30 minutes, he can have some more slices without hot sauce. This is a child who is already essentially on death's door with his malnutrition. And his mother, the person responsible for his care and custody and well-being, is telling her other son to feed him hot sauce. This isn't the only reference to hot sauce. You're going to hear multiple references to it throughout those text messages. At one point, Timothy commits the horrendous crime of eating the crust of a burger, leftover pieces of a burger. And when she finds out, what does she tell Paul Ferguson to do? Go make him throw up. Sadly, Paul does that. Go make him throw up because he ate the crust of a burger. It's difficult to wrap your mind around the level of depraved indifference shown to Timothy Ferguson. Ladies and gentlemen, that is why I will be asking you to return a verdict of guilty of a count of felony murder in the first degree and first-degree child abuse. The judge has gone over the elements of that crime, and you have them in your jury instructions, and I won't belabor the point here. But the people's position is that SHANDA VANDER ARK caused the death of Timothy Ferguson as a result of that malnutrition, as a result of her repeated denial of his access to food during the last months of his life. And that during the course of that time period, she was inflicting emotional, mental, and physical abuse upon him with her actions. And again, you're not going to have to take my word for it. You're going to see the text messages. You're going to hear those text messages. This afternoon, I anticipate that Lieutenant Hooksma and Detective Alm will be reading those text messages to you, one playing the part of Paul Ferguson, the other reading Ms. Vander Ark's texts. And like I said, they are shocking. They are truly shocking. Paul's testimony will be as equally shocking. And again, you don't have to like Paul Ferguson. I don't like Paul Ferguson. I hold Paul Ferguson responsible for the death of Timothy Ferguson, just as I do the defendant in this case. But as we talked about in jury selection, it's not for you to decide what happens with Paul Ferguson. He's already made his choice, and he's agreed to cooperate and testify against his mother. And he will be pleading to a first-degree child abuse charge here. His sentence to be determined by Judge Case at a little later date. You don't have to like him, but I want you to listen to what he says, because everything that he says is going to be corroborated by the physical evidence in this case, especially those text messages. He's going to tell you how Timothy Ferguson was a prisoner in that home. When the officers arrived that day, they didn't realize they were walking into a prison cell, but they were. And the horrors they uncovered are horrors not even inflicted upon prisoners of war who get the protection of the Geneva Convention. Horrors we don't inflict on prisoners here in the United States who get regular meals and access to small freedoms. Timothy had none of that. That's the how of this, ladies and gentlemen. That is the how. of how Timothy Ferguson died. Now, the better question, the harder question that most of you will likely be asking yourselves is why? When I was in college, I discovered a musical group called 10,000 Maniacs. Their 1987 album, In My Tribe, begins with a song called What's the Matter Here? And it was the first time I remember being aware of socially conscious lyrics for a song. It's a very powerful, very moving song. Natalie Merchant is the lead singer for the group and wrote the song. And the song is about her being a person who's witnessing what she believes to be child abuse, the physical abuse of a child in the building she lives in, and the mental abuse inflicted upon that child by the child's parents. The bridge of the song, after she hears threats made to the child by the father, has these lyrics. Answer me and take your time. What could be the awful crime? He could do at so young an age. If I'm the only witness to your madness, offer me some words to balance out what I see and what I hear. These cold and lowly things that you do, I suppose you do because he belongs to you. And instead of love, you've given him these cuts and sores that don't heal with time or with age. Now, in the song, it's implied that she becomes the person who has the courage to speak up and say what's happening to this child and say, what's the matter here? She can stand up and protect the child. There was nobody that could stand up for Timothy Ferguson. There was nobody that could answer the question, what's the matter here? The defendant made sure that nobody could see Timothy Ferguson. Nobody could see what was being done to him. Can't even produce a picture on her cell phone of him in the last 6 months of his life. I don't know about the rest of you as parents, but you can go 10 photos in my photo stream on my phone without finding a picture of my kids. But nothing in the 6 months leading up to his death. What could be the awful crime he had done at so young an age? I can't answer the why for you. I don't have to answer the why for you. You will hear instructions from the judge that I don't have to prove the motive in this case. And I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that no why could possibly, as Natalie Merchant says in the song, no why could possibly justify the cold and lowly things done to Timothy Ferguson. All we know is that they were done. And as a result, Timothy Ferguson died without anyone there to speak up for him, without anyone to say, what's the matter here? So, ladies and gentlemen, at the conclusion of these very difficult proofs, I will be asking you to return a verdict of guilty, the charge of first-degree felony murder and first-degree child abuse. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Mr. Johnson, do you wish to make an opening statement at this time?
I do.
All right, you may proceed.
Yes. What he said, I don't have a lot to argue with that. Yup. That's what you're going to hear. All the things you're going to hear those things. Most of that evidence is not going to be controverted. All of it's going to come in almost exactly like he said it's going to come in. And at the end of the day, you're going to say, what's up? Why are we here? We're here, folks. We're here, folks, because this case is not just terrible. It's weird. It's just strange. It goes into portions of our brains that we hope we don't have. And I say that because I'm a lawyer. I was paying attention to what Mr. Roberts says. One of the things he didn't talk about was what the statute says. And the judge read you this morning, so read you again. The exact word of the statute for this type of crime is knowing and intentional. All the things that he says that my client did, she has to know and she has to intend for either one of these charges to be filed. And you know, and if you had a recorder and you could hear his whole speech again, there's nothing about that. She knew, she intended. And you're going to be shown. Text messages. Telephone book of text messages. And they're going to be read to you. Some of the juicier parts are going to be read to you. And I ask you to pay close attention to those text messages. Because when you listen to those text messages and you're paying attention, and understand, these text messages were made and created at a time nobody knew there'd be anybody who'd ever read them. In other words, nobody's trying to fake what they're saying in here because they don't know anybody else is ever going to read them. So this is what they're thinking at the time. This is what's going in there. All the things that are going in there is raw and it's real. And it's unedited. They go find those text messages. And what you're going to hear over and over again, over and over, as you listen to these messages, is my client, SHANDA VANDER ARK, and her oldest son, Paul Ferguson, had no idea that they were hurting this boy. If you listen to those messages, they don't have a clue. And it's two of them. It's not just the one, not her and just him. At one point, he sends her the picture. At another point, she asks him, is he okay? You think we should see me? And each time, the other person deflects and they continue to go on. They don't figure out that they're hurting Tim until he's dead. That's the first time it occurs to them, hey, we got a problem here. And they get mad and they panic. They try to make up stories. She's going to tell you, she's going to testify. She's going to tell you what's going on. But as you listen to Paul's testimony and as you listen to my client's testimony, neither one of them are aware of what's obvious to him and you and him and all the rest of us. We're all going to see it. How could you not see it? But listen to them. They don't. They see things. They don't see the suffering. They don't see this. They call what they're doing to him punishments, and they consider in response to what he's doing. Over and over again. He's not going to win on this one. He's not going to get away with this. He's not going to do this. These are punishments that they feel are reasonable and are not hurting him. I have heard, and I expect Paul to take that stand and then tell you he wishes he could change everything now, and he wishes he could die for his brother now. But at the time he was doing these things, he didn't see a problem with it. In fact, Paul is the one. My client's the one. Paul wants to take it a step further. He wants to start getting physical with this boy. It's my client who tells him you're not allowed to do that. These are appropriate punishments. There's no intention. There's no intention to hurt or kill or to abuse this young man. My client will take the stand. You'll find out she's a highly intelligent person. She went to law school. She passed the bar examination. She was in the process of trying to become licensed as this matter began. She graduated cum laude in her high school, college, second. I think law school was the second person on the list. She was clerking for judges. She was working and studying, and she was this close to achieving lifelong goals. Then she gets a call from her ex-husband. I'm putting Timothy out, the victim. You want him, or he's going to protective services. She takes him in. She takes him in. She takes him in. Send him to me. I don't want my son and sister. Send them to me. She brings them to her home. And then the wheels start to fall off in her life. Her husband gets seriously ill. She's now struggling with the expenses of the home and the 3 children and everything else that's going on. She's working. She's going to school. She's doing all these things. She's not sleeping. And something happens with her and Paul. They tend to see things that I can't, and I'm not a doctor. I don't have a doctor coming here to tell you about this stuff. All I have is exhibit 1 or whatever it's going to be. That's going to tell you these people don't know they're hurting this kid. They love this child. They don't know. They don't see it. Whatever's going on between them, they don't see it until it's too late. And that's what happens. There is a terrible situation. Everything he said, you're going to hear. That's in line. But there's no intention to hurt this child. They love this child. There's no intention to abuse this child. They love this child. But they just don't see what's before their eyes and what you and I can see. They don't see it. And so they continue on a course which was not only destructive to him, but led to this hearing. They have no interest in doing this personally or in terms of their love to their child. This is something they don't know they're doing. They don't get it. And poor Tim ends up paying the ultimate price. But this isn't murder. This is not murder. This is something's wrong, but it's not murder. And we're going to ask you to find my client not guilty. Thank you.
There's something wrong. I got to go back up and find it. I didn't want to pause until he was done, but thank you, Christine, for being a member for 14 months. I appreciate it. And congratulations on getting monetized. I don't think I've seen you since I saw that you were monetized. So good job. And hard work always pays off. So I hope you just keep going and growing. Oh, Puddletown. I wouldn't take a pudding pop. Again, I think I've watched interviews with him after this trial was over. He's a very nice guy. He just doesn't have anything to work with. Nothing to work with.
Johnson.
Oh, that's Shanda, whatever her
If
name
we have
is.
any phones on, I'd ask that. Does somebody have a phone on? Or not now?
And it drove me crazy that she was chewing gum. Insane. Like, of all people, she's been to law school. She worked, I think, in that courthouse. She knows better than to chew freaking gum in court.
Okay, I'd ask you to either, if they're buzzing and distracting, please shut it off. Certainly put it on vibrate. But if I haven't heard it, but if can somebody identify the source, let me know. So, and those in the gallery, I'd ask you please turn off your cell phones.
Far from it.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. You may call your first witness.
Thank you. Call Officer Stefan.
She did file an appeal. That's why I'm redoing this so that we can watch it up to I think the 25th is the date that she goes for a hearing, and that's if it's anything but denied, I will be shocked and also very upset because she deserves nothing but where she's at and what she got.
So please raise your right hand. This matter now pending. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, put your hand down and grab a seat. Please state your name for the record, spelling your first name and last name.
Officer Sean Stefanich, first name is S-H-A-W-N, last name is S-T-E-F-A-N-I-C-H.
Thank you. Officer Stefanich, I want to direct your attention back to July 6th of 2022. Were you working in your capacity as an officer for the City of Norton Shores Police Department at that time, sir?
Yes, I was.
And approximately 6:30 that morning on July 6th, were you on duty?
Yes,
And were you dispatched to an address at 4788 Marshall in the City of Norton Shores, County of Muskegon, State of Michigan?
yes.
What was the nature of the dispatch to that address at that time?
It was assist to medical. We had a report of a 15-year-old that was not breathing, and I was dispatched there to help out.
And did you then go to that location?
Yes,
And were you in full uniform, such as you're dressed today?
yes.
Were you, when you arrived, who was actually on the scene?
Both fire and ProMed were already on scene.
All right. And I just need to stop you for just a second. Mr. Johnson and I discussed the matter this morning. There's media present, and it's my understanding that there was a minor child that was present in the home. So you understand, for purposes of testimony today, we're just going to use that minor child's initial to describe his name. I'm not talking about Timothy Ferguson, I'm talking about the minor child who goes by the initial G.
Okay,
You understand?
yes.
So I'm sorry, and I cut you off there. I apologize. I just wanted to make sure that we had that taken care of. So I think you were describing who was in the home at the time that you arrived. So please continue.
When I arrived, fire personnel were already on scene, and the two ProMed paramedics were already there. I had been, originally when I was going to the call, I was going emergency, but I was notified by dispatch that Timothy had already been declared deceased. So I stopped doing emergency response and just drove there normally. So when I got there, ProMed was there, and they said he's already been declared deceased.
And did they direct you to where Timothy was located in that house?
Yes,
Okay. Can you describe the house? We're going to see some photographs in a little bit of the house, but can you describe the house just briefly for the jury, please?
it's pretty much a split level house. What happens is there's a front door. You come in the front door, and then you have steps leading to the right, which go down to the basement, and then you have steps leading up, which go up into the front, the normal living area.
So it's a bi-level home.
Yes,
And where was Timothy located then when you arrived in the home?
he was in the basement, on the floor.
Were ProMed personnel still down in the basement around him? or-
Yes, the one ProMed was Nicholas Mock.
And at some point then, well, I asked it this way. What was the next thing you did in terms of establishing what had taken place after you observed? Timothy?
First I talked to the medical personnel, asked them what they did, what they saw, what had happened. And then I asked the mother what had happened prior to her calling 911.
And at that time, was the person you've identified as the mother, was she present at the scene?
Yes,
And would you recognize that person if you saw her again?
yes,
Is she in the courtroom right now?
yes.
Could you point her out for the record and identify what she's currently wearing?
She's wearing the dark blue blazer and ponytails, sitting at the defense desk.
I'd ask the record reflect that the witnesses identified the defendant, Your Honor.
They will.
So you had a conversation with the defendant at that point in time, is that correct?
Yes,
Did you actually end up having two conversations with her?
yeah, I had a couple conversations with her
So initially, what was the purpose of your first conversation with Ms. Vander?
just to know what happened right there before 911 and kind of establish a timeline of what happened.
Do you recall what she told you in terms of a timeline of what had taken place?
Yes.
What did she tell you?
She said at 5:30, she was woken up to Timothy falling out of bed. He sleeps in a bunk bed. The top shelf, or the top is the bed, and underneath is a desk.
And did you observe a bed in the basement area that matched that description?
Yes,
So she says at 5:30 he falls out of bed.
correct.
And what does she indicate she does when he falls out of bed?
She checks on him, makes sure he's all right, helps him back up into bed, and then leaves him.
And this is about 5:30.
That's what she told me, 5:30.
And again, the time you were on scene was approximately what?
I got there at 6:48.
So this is about an hour and 15 minutes after she's describing Timothy falling out of bed and her putting him back into bed.
Yes.
Okay, and then what does she indicate took place?
She said about 6:30, she went back downstairs to check on Timothy and saw that he wasn't breathing.
Did she indicate that she attempted to call 911 at that point?
Yes,
And you would agree with me that the 911, your dispatch time was 6:37 that morning, is that correct?
that's
If
the
that's
time
what's in the
that,
report.
yeah, that's the time that they called 911, 6:37. Dispatch told me about the call at 6:38.
So within a minute or so, the 911 call, you're being dispatched as well.
Correct.
Is that standard operating procedure? If
Yes.
these types of-
Yeah.
So police, fire, and medical personnel are all dispatched.
Correct.
So 5:30, he falls out of bed. 6:30, she goes down to check on him again, and that's when 911 is called.
Yes.
Right. Now, when you observed Timothy, what observations did you make about him, about his physical person, obviously other than the fact that he was deceased?
He was very malnourished.
And when you say that, what can you describe what it is?
He was
that you
just skin and
observed?
bone. Skin and bone. He didn't have any muscles.
At some point in time, we'll get into those photographs a little bit later and present those to the jury, but did you have an occasion to observe? Well, let me ask this first. How was Timothy dressed when you arrived on scene?
He had an adult diaper on, and he had a sweatshirt on his torso.
And was he wearing any jeans?
I don't believe so. I think it was, I'm not positive, but I remember the adult diaper and then the sweatshirt because I had to lift the sweatshirt later.
And if he, well, let me just do this for just a moment. These are going to be later presented to the jury judge, but for purposes of refreshing your recollection, if you could just briefly take a look at what will ultimately be People's Exhibit 33. We're not going to show that on any of the TV monitors at that point. Do you recall that photograph?
Yes.
All right. And does that refresh your recollection in terms of how Timothy Ferguson was dressed at the time that you found him?
Yeah.
How was he dressed?
He had jeans on. But as soon as he was declared dead, I pretty much put a sheet over him.
But that picture that you just looked at, that jury will see a little bit later, that does appear to be the condition in which you observed Timothy Ferguson when you arrived on the scene.
Yes.
And during part of that process, did you lift up that sweatshirt and see both his back and front area?
Yes.
And that was documented in the photograph?
Yes.
So your initial contact with Ms. Vander Ark was establishing a timeline in terms of what had happened to Timothy, at least that morning. In your subsequent conversations with her, did you get a little bit more information about who was living in the home and what the living situation was?
Yes.
And again, ultimately, for purposes of it's maintaining some anonymity here, there was a younger child in the home as well, correct?
Correct.
And that younger child's initial begins with G, correct?
Yes.
And he was approximately how old, do you recall?
I think he was around 7.
Did
But
you
I
actually,
don't know for sure.
did you actually see him inside the home?
I saw him running around, but I never spoke to him and didn't really get all the concrete information about him.
But were you able to determine that was actually a biological child of Ms. Vander Ark?
I believe so. That's what I was told.
And but you did observe that child running around the home, you said. Is that
Yes.
correct? Did he appear to have any malnourishment issues or issues running around or
No,
moving?
he seemed normal.
And there was actually an older child in the home as well. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that's Paul Ferguson.
Yes.
And did you actually observe him in the home as well?
Yes.
And did you observe anything in terms of his physical condition, in terms of concerns of malnourishment or inability to move, anything of that nature?
No.
And ultimately, did Ms. Vander Ark indicate to you that those were, including Timothy, those 3 boys that were in the home were her children?
Yes.
Did you establish approximately when Timothy had come to live with Ms. Vander Ark in Norton Shores?
Yes.
When did that take place?
She told me May of 2021. He had been living with the biological father in Oklahoma, and they're having problems with him or something to that effect. And so she took him in to her home there.
Did you ask her about why Timothy was wearing a diaper?
I did. Just said that he has accidents, so he was wearing a diaper.
And did you ask her about any medication that Timothy had been taking?
Yes, she said that he used to take medication for ADHD, but he stopped taking that because he started feeling better.
Now, Mr. Johnson's already alluded to it as an opening, but at some point did Ms. Vander Ark indicate to you that there had been another person that was living in the house earlier that year, in January of that year?
Yes, her
Who was that
husband.
person? Her husband?
Correct.
And what does she indicate happened with her husband that caused him to no longer be in the home?
He had a stroke, and because of the stroke, he couldn't climb stairs, so he could no longer live there. So he was staying with his parents.
So her husband had left the home sometime after the stroke happened in January. Was that your understanding?
That's what I was told.
And so that left her in the home with the three boys, Paul, Timothy, and G, right?
According to her, yes.
Did she indicate to you that there have been problems around that time with Timothy not eating?
Yes.
What did she indicate to you happened around the time of the stroke with Timothy not eating?
She said because of the stroke and some other family issues that Timothy had stopped eating for about 3 weeks.
And did she indicate to you that she got him to start eating again?
Yes. She said that she threatened to take him to the hospital, so he started eating again.
So this was taking place, she's indicating to you this was taking place around the time of the stroke happening in January, is that correct?
Correct.
And this was, at least what she was relaying to you, that this was Timothy's response to the stroke was to stop eating.
Yes.
And did she indicate there was another period of time where Timothy had stopped eating?
Yes.
What was that period of time?
She said in the last 2 weeks prior that he had stopped eating.
So
when this medical happened, for 2 weeks prior to that, he had stopped eating.
So you understood that to mean that she was saying the 2 weeks leading up to his death, Timothy had stopped eating.
Correct.
And did she indicate to you that she had got him to start eating again just prior to his death?
Yes.
What did she indicate had happened?
She told me that the night before she had given him 2 pieces of toast.
So after you speak to Ms. Vander Ark a few times there and have an observation of Paul, did you conduct an examination of the rest of that basement area of that home?
Yes.
And it said, we've described it a little bit for the jury, but if you could describe a little bit more just the downstairs area, the layout of that downstairs area.
When you go into the basement, there's like a common area. And that's where the bed was for Timothy. They had made a bedroom into the common area. Right next to that common area is a small little closet. And then off of that room is 2 more bedrooms, a bathroom, and a utility room.
And was it relayed to you that the 2 bedrooms belonged to Paul and to the minor child, G?
Yes.
And you said there was a bathroom in the basement as well?
Yes.
And did you observe the bathroom?
Yes.
What happened when you walked into the bathroom?
When I walked in the bathroom, there was a video camera, a motion camera that was sitting on the bathroom counter. As soon as I walked in, it turned towards me. Made me think it's motion activated or he's sensitive.
And then did it track your motion then? Or
Yeah, it followed me as I walked through the bathroom.
What did you observe about the bathroom itself?
Bathroom was very dirty. There was dirty adult diapers on the floor, and there was no shower curtain.
Did you observe anything on the counter of the bathroom that was unusual?
There was a bottle of hot sauce.
And if you recall, were there zip ties or any type of restraint located in that bathroom? If you recall,
I don't recall any of that.
As it relates to restraints, though, did you observe any other restraints in the basement area of that home?
Yes,
What did
there
you
were leg shackles in the first common room where Timothy's bed was. There was a drawer. The desk area was really cluttered, and there was like a little stack of drawers, and it was open. And in the drawer was a set of leg shackles.
And what material were those leg shackles made of?
They were regular leg shackles. I checked with my cuff key, and my cuff key was used up. They were normal leg shackles.
These were metallic.
Like we would use, police would use.
And was there any padding on them? Anything that would soften that leg shackle if that was placed on them individually?
No.
So you said, I think you said there at the end that the shackles that would be used, like the police would use or jail uses for
Yes.
prisoners.
Correct.
What other observations did you make about the basement area?
There's cameras everywhere. There was one camera that was facing Timothy's bed. So his bed would be here, and on the opposite wall, there was a camera facing his bed. In the other room, G's room, there was a camera in his room that was facing the door, like it would trying to catch people coming and going in. Then there was the camera in the bathroom, and then there was a 4th camera that was underneath Timothy's bed. When it happened, it appears that the camera was like placed down, so it was not recording anything, but it was still electrified and on.
But like the lens portion was facing down, is that what you mean? And that was under Timothy's bed?
Yes,
Um,
it was laying on top of all the junk that was there.
but just put off to the side under the bed?
Yes.
Now you talked about a closet area. Could you describe that in a little bit more detail for the jury?
The closet was right next to, it was in between the stairs and Timothy's bedroom. There was a closet there. When we opened it, there really wasn't anything in there except for a tarp and a cardboard box. But there was a sensor that was attached to the wall. And what it is it's one of those sensors that people buy for alarms. So when you open up a door, it would, it would give an audio alarm, but it's not connected to anything. And that was on the closet door and attached to the wall.
Now, based upon all your, well, let's talk about the upstairs area for a little bit. Could you describe that in for some detail for the jury, the upstairs portion of the bylaw?
Upstairs, I really wasn't part of that too much, but there was a common area, kitchen, and then a bathroom and bedroom.
Did you make observations of the common area of the kitchen? Or?
Not really, no, because I pretty much stayed in the basement. I was guarding the scene. I was securing the scene, make sure nobody went in and out of there.
And ultimately, was a search warrant obtained for that residence?
Yes,
And you were tasked with what at that point?
I helped search the basement.
And you kept the basement area secure from people coming and going?
Yes, made sure nobody came in or out.
All right. And was anything, did you observe while you were down there, anybody besides Timothy's body being removed, anything else being removed from the basement area?
No.
Nothing further this time. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Roberts. Mr. Johnson.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Officer Stefanich.
Good morning.
You were dispatched to my client's home, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and once you arrived, was my client still performing CPR on Timothy?
Not when I was there, no.
Okay, but you have been informed that she had been in fact attempting CPR on Timothy at some point, is that correct?
That's what the paramedics told me.
Right, so you arrive on the scene, you're talking to, I've got the video from your chest camera, you arrive at the scene, you're talking to a paramedic, and is that when they tell you, well, we found him, he's downstairs and she's doing the CPR and that sort of thing?
Yes.
Okay, and I also noticed from that chest cam, as you walk in, she's no longer in the basement, she's sitting on the front porch, do you remember that?
No.
Okay.
I remember she was in the stair area. There's 3 sets of stairs. I know she was in the stair area somewhere.
Okay, well, I'll ask my next question. I've got the video up and running so I can have you take a look at it if it's necessary. But let me ask this next question, may not even be necessary. But I'm wondering what my client's demeanor was when you arrived and when you spoke to her, as you've testified, correct?
She appeared to be distraught.
Okay. Well, let's make sure. Distraught. What is distraught?
Distraught, emotional.
Okay.
I can't remember if she was crying, but she lost her son, so she was displaying emotions of distress. And
Okay. Would viewing the video allow you to remember whether or not she was crying?
sure.
Okay. I don't even think you need the sound, but I have headphones in case you do. May I approach you on?
You may.
And this is, again, you have a chest video camera on your chest. Okay, you have cameras on your chest.
Yes.
Police issue, and it's running during the entire time you're in this room.
Yes.
Okay, may I approach? You said I could, so. Let's see if this works, officer. This is at 12:37, and I'm just gonna run a few seconds so you can see.
Mr. Johnson, can you just angle it more toward him? It's not an admitted exhibit yet, so I just want to make sure the jury doesn't see it.
Is that enough for you? Refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. All right. Given that refreshed recollection, can you remember if my client was crying or not when you saw her?
Yes, she was crying.
And you mentioned never mind, you did, you testified to that. You also mentioned finding leg shackles in the bed.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Now, as I recall, watching the video and reading your report, you then checked the furniture for scratches.
Correct.
Why? Explain to the jury why you checked the furniture for scratches, please.
I checked to see if the child had been chained to a bed or something like that.
Yes, because if the child had been chained to a bed, you might expect to find, if it's a wooden furniture, scratches to where the chain rubbed against the wood. Is that what you're looking for?
That is correct. I'm looking to see if there's the handcuffs are pretty hard,
Okay.
and if they were chained to a bed post or something like that, there should have been, damage to that because of
Metal handcuffs.
correct.
Okay. Did you discover any scratches or any damage that reflected that possibility, at least in your mind?
No.
I have no further questions.
Okay, redirect.
Just a couple of brief ones. Officer Stefanich, in terms of those handcuffs, you said, Mr. Johnson asked you, and you said that you checked the furniture that you could see in terms of seeing if there's any scratch marks on that, and you didn't locate any. Is that correct?
Correct.
You recall what material Timothy's bed was actually made of, though?
It was metal.
You didn't observe any scratches on that, though, did you?
No.
And that's all.
Recross, Mr. Johnson.
No, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Officer Stefanich. You can stand down.
Right.
All right, thank you. May he be excused, Mr. Roberts? Or-
Yes.
All right. Mr. Johnson, may this witness be excused? Mr. Johnson?
Your Honor.
Mr. Johnson?
I don't require Officer Stefanich to remain on the premises, but I'd like him to remain under subpoena in case we need to recall.
Okay.
Thank you. We can do that.
All right, that's fine. So, Ms. Officer Stefanich, I'm assuming, we didn't discuss it, I guess, in specific. The parties agreeing to a sequestration order of witnesses, I'm assuming, Mr. Roberts?
But for my investigating officers, I don't have anybody else here,
Okay.
Judge. So
All right. All right.
It's
So,
effectively a sequestration order.
you don't want him to remain in the courtroom, though, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. So, Officer Stefanich, you're still under subpoena. So, I do not want you to discuss your testimony with anyone else until released from the subpoena. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. You are excused. All right. Mr. Roberts, who's your next witness?
The next witness is Officer Peasky.
Will that be a
Half an hour, so if you want to take a break now.
yeah, I think I was going to take a break at 10:30, but this is one of those natural breaks. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we will take our morning break. Mr. Weaver will escort you back to the jury room. There's water back there. And we'll be back. Let's call it 10:30. Thank you.
Pedal down your autocorrect. I think, all right, I think we go into break here.
All right, may be seated. Anything for the record before we recess, Mr. Roberts and Mr. Johnson?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right, court's in recess.
Peddleton, your autocorrect needs its own show. So if you didn't catch it, don't start your phone. For those of you who have not seen this trial, so they had Paul, the older brother, then Timothy, the victim, and then there's a younger brother, 7-year-old. They call him G. They end up saying his name several times, so it's not on. I don't know. They have the Sarah Boone defense on that. Not intentional. That's what Shanda was going for too. Not intentional. All right. But the younger 7-year-old brother, just like we see in a lot of these child abuse cases, he was fine. He was fine. Also, if you're joining us late, we will go back to Betty Broderick when this is over. her hearing is the 25th, so we'll go back the following Monday, 26th, 27th, I think the 28th. We'll head back to Betty. We're finishing Betty. Don't you worry. Betty is not going away. What am I looking for? Also, I swear it takes us Jerry forever to get in and out. It is Old Soul. It's really odd, and we've seen it in a lot of trials that we've covered, that it's one child, and it's so weird. Nope, no bad words, Daddy Short Nuts. She left all those to Betty. Oh, this judge is amazing. Like I said, so's prosecutor. I did not know that,
Good
Tammy.
morning, Officer Peasky. Good morning. Please raise your right hand. This matter now pending. You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
I swear.
All right, you can put your hand down, grab a seat. Please state your name for the record, spelling your first name and last name.
My name is Ryan Peasky. First name is Ryan, Ryan. Last name Peasky, Pieske.
Thank you. Sir, could you state your occupation for the record, please?
I'm a police officer with the Norton Shores Police Department.
And I would like to direct your attention back to July 6th of 2022. Were you working in your capacity as a detective for the Norton Shores Police Department at that time, sir?
Yes, I was.
And on that date, on July 6th of 2022, were you dispatched to an address at 4788 Marshall in the city of Norton Shores, County of Muskegon, State of Michigan?
That is correct.
And what was the nature of the dispatch for you going to that address at the time that you were called?
I was contacted by Detective Sergeant Joel Hooksema requesting that we respond to a suspicious death investigation.
And did you go to that location?
I did, yes.
And when you arrived at the scene, and we discussed this in the hallway, there's one individual that we are only going to refer to by initial, the initial G. But can you describe, including that person, can you describe who was present at the scene when you arrived?
There was several police officers on scene. There was Miss Vander Ark, there was G, there was Paul Ferguson, and the deceased.
And did you have an occasion then was Timothy Ferguson's body still in the premises at that time?
Yes, it was.
And did you have an occasion to observe his body at that scene at that time?
I did observe his body.
And what observations did you make about his physical person at that point in time, other than the fact that he was deceased?
That he was extremely malnourished. At least it appeared that way. Very skinny. You could see bones protruding from his body. You could see his ribs through his skin.
And did you then observe did you take an opportunity to observe the rest of the residents?
I did, yes.
And so we've already had described Officer Stefanich's bi-level residence and Timothy Ferguson's body located in the lower level of that residence. Did you have an occasion to observe the rest of the lower level at that time?
I at some point during the day I did observe the rest of the lower level. I don't know exactly where that falls in line with.
But you did at some point observe the lower.
Certainly, yes.
And specifically, did you have an occasion to observe that there were cameras in that residence?
Yes, there were several cameras throughout the lower level of the residence.
And at some point then, did you also observe the upper level of the residence? Again,
I
not
did.
Sequentially, but at some point.
Yes, I did.
The specifically related to the kitchen area, did you make some observations of the kitchen area?
Yeah, in the kitchen area, there were locks on some of the cabinets in the refrigerator, the freezer.
That struck you as unusual?
Certainly, yes.
Now, ultimately, did you have an occasion then to conduct an interview with the defendant, Ms. Vander Ark?
I did later on that afternoon, yes.
Now, for the record, could you point out Ms. Vander Ark and identify what she's currently wearing if she's in the courtroom right now?
She's right there sitting in between the defense attorneys. She's wearing a black jacket. It appears or dark blue. I can't tell.
Keep your voice up just a little bit if you can. The microphone will amplify, but not too much. So if you can just keep it up. So we need to make sure that all the jurors can hear what you're saying. So you did conduct an interview with Ms. Vander Ark at some point in time. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And I would ask the record reflect that this witness has also identified the defendant, Your Honor. Specifically, I want to direct you to portions of that. And at the time that you talked to Ms. Vander Ark, you already had an occasion to observe what you just described in terms of the kitchen area with locks on the freezer and the refrigerator.
Yes, I observed those things prior to speaking with her.
And did you ask her about those?
I did ask her about those.
And did she indicate to you what Timothy's connection was to the locks on the freezer and the refrigerator and any other access to food?
She indicated that those locks were to prevent him from sneaking food or snacking on food that he wasn't supposed to have. That there was a pantry that was open that he had access to, but he did not have a key to those locks.
But specifically, did she indicate that that there was a pantry that did not have any type of lock on it?
Yes.
And did you observe that pantry?
I don't recall the pantry specifically, but.
So as it related to Timothy's access, he did not have access. She indicated to you he did not have access to the refrigerator or to the freezer.
That is correct, yes.
And did you talk to Ms. Vander Ark about the circumstances leading up to Timothy going on any type of hunger strike?
Yeah, she had indicated that he had a hunger strike that he went on in January, starting after January 3rd, that lasted maybe 18 to 19 days. And then an additional hunger strike that started approximately 2 weeks prior to us being at the home.
So, and you're there in July, so she's talking about two separate incidents where he stopped eating, is that right?
That is correct.
The first one occurring in January, the second one occurring leading up to Timothy's death.
Yes.
And the January hunger strike, did you later come to learn that there was we'll call it what it is, a traumatic event where an individual had a stroke and was out of the home at that point in time?
Yeah, at that time, Adam Vander Ark had a stroke and could no longer live at the home. So I believe that stroke happened on January 3rd, and this happened shortly thereafter.
So Timothy's first hunger strike, she's indicating to you, took place sometime after January 3rd, after Adam had the stroke.
That is correct, yes.
And is it your understanding that Adam Vander Ark is actually the father of the minor child that we're identifying as G?
That is correct, yes.
But he's not the biological father of Timothy Ferguson or the older child, Paul Ferguson, who was also in the home.
That's also correct, yes.
So she's talking about the hunger strike, talking about the second hunger strike now that she's referring to leading up to Timothy's death. Did she indicate to you at any point in time prior to his death that she realized how serious it was getting and tried to get him to eat?
So she had indicated that not until the night prior to his death, that at that time she realized how bad it was. She had threatened to take him to the ER if he didn't eat, that he ate a piece of toast with some butter on it, or at least she saw him take a few bites of it, and then she walked away, and that he said he was done eating it, and he went downstairs for the night.
And so did she indicate how it was that he went downstairs or what happened when he went downstairs to go to bed for that night?
That he went downstairs on his own, that she had told him good night, but he did not come back upstairs to say goodnight to her, that she walked down to the bottom of those stairs and asked for a hug, and that he had refused to give her a hug at that time.
So this is the night before he is deceased, is that right?
That is correct, yes.
Now, did she indicate to you what happened in the morning when Timothy was discovered?
She indicated that she heard a thud in the night, that it was Timothy falling out of his bunk bed, that it happened sometime in an hour that was ended with a 30, like for example, 5:30. She said that she had originally thought it was 5:30, but that she had been told that it couldn't have been 5:30 because Timothy was already deceased at that time. So she then hears this, she goes downstairs to check on him and finds that he's not breathing.
So initially there was an indication that she believed it was 5:30. I think we've had some testimony from Officer Stefnich to that effect, but based on information that she had received from ProMed, did she then indicate it wasn't 5:30, it was some point earlier in the evening, or earlier in the morning, I should say, that she went to check on Timothy?
Can I correct myself? I just said that she had found him not breathing. At that time, she didn't, he was, according to her, still breathing at that time.
Right, and that's kind of
made.
what we were getting at, is that at some point in the night, at some point in the morning, again, at the same mistake, at some point that morning, she checked on him because he'd fallen out of bed.
Yes.
And he was responsive at that point in time, is that correct?
That's what she said, yes.
Right, and by the time she was talking to you, the 5:30 had been essentially disproven because of information she'd gotten from ProMed.
Yes.
About how long Timothy had been deceased, but she relayed to you it was some time ending in the 30.
That is correct, yes.
But he was alive and responsive at that point in time.
Yes, sir.
Right, so then did she then indicate what happened when she discovered him from essentially the second time? Then?
Yeah, so then the second time, she had called for him in the morning. She had woke up, got ready for work, called for him. He didn't answer. That she went downstairs to check on him, found him not breathing, that her son Paul helped remove him from the top bunk of the bed onto the floor, and that's when he was found deceased.
And so she's specifically talking about removing him from the top bunk of the bed. Did you observe that bed in the basement area?
I did observe the bed in the basement, yes.
And she indicated that Paul helped her get Timothy off of the bed because he was not responsive at that point in time.
That is correct, yes.
Did you ever ask her if she had any photographs on her phone of Timothy from January, the time of the stroke, until
Yeah,
then?
I had asked her if she had photographs on her phone. She said that she would have photographs of the other kids, but not of Timothy after that January 3rd date.
But she did have photos of the other boys on her phone.
That's what she said.
She said. Again, by the time you're talking to Ms. Vander Ark that day, you'd already conducted a search or aware of items that were removed from or seized or to be seized from that home. Is that correct?
That's correct.
One of those items was some leg shackles that we've had some testimony at from officers from Stefanage. Did you ask Ms. Vander Ark about what the leg shackles were for?
Yeah, she said that she had purchased the leg shackles from her Amazon account. I don't remember if it was a month or several months prior, that they were for her son Paul to use on a TikTok video, and that it didn't involve any use on any human being, that it was for Legos or something along the lines of that.
Okay, but the leg shackles she indicated to you were for Paul?
Correct.
For TikTok video. At that point in time, we were also aware that there was a closet in the basement area that had some type of alarm on it or some type of sensor on the door indicating if somebody was moving in and out of that closet.
Yes, yep. I asked her about the alarm on the closet. She told me that she had some sewing equipment that was in that closet that she didn't want anybody to have access to.
For sewing equipment.
For sewing equipment.
Did you observe any sewing equipment in the basement?
There was sewing equipment in the basement, but it was in the open area of the basement landing, which is where Timothy's bed was also, well, the bunk bed was also.
So the sewing equipment was not in the closet where this alarm is on the door. Again, her statement to you being because the sewing equipment, that's what the alarms were for.
Yeah, the sewing equipment was not in the closet where the alarm was.
Did you have any occasion to actually go into that small closet area?
Yes.
And what observations did you make about that closet area?
In that closet area, there was a blue tarp that was laid out on the floor, that it smelled like urine and feces. That's essentially it.
You already referenced the fact that there were multiple cameras inside the home. Did you ask Ms. Vander Ark what the purpose of those cameras were?
Yeah, I did ask about the cameras. She indicated that they were for G to watch him because he had been stripping down naked and walking around the home.
So the cameras were for G because he would strip naked and walk around?
Yes.
Did she offer any explanation as to how having a camera would stop somebody from walking around naked?
Not that it would stop, but that she could tell that it was happening so that she could address it.
As part of that, then, did she relate to you, or did you come to understand that those cameras allowed her to communicate through the camera in some fashion?
Yes, she said that she was able to communicate, like two-way communication was actually available through the cameras, or some of the cameras, in which she could talk and also be heard, and that she could hear what was happening.
Were you also aware that there had been some hot sauce located in the downstairs bathroom of that residence?
Yes, there was a bottle of hot sauce that was located on the counter, the bathroom counter.
And what did she indicate to you was the purpose of that hot sauce?
She said that it was for food, that Timothy liked spicy food, and that it was used for food.
Did she offer any explanation why it was in the bathroom?
She did not. She said that when she last saw it, it was upstairs.
Did you, getting back to the shackles for just a moment, did you ask her if she ever used those shackles to restrain Timothy in any way?
Yeah, she indicated that she had not ever used those shackles to restrain Timothy.
Thank you, officer. No further questions.
All right. Mr. Johnson, any cross-examination?
Yes, sir.
All right, you may proceed.
Officer Pierce, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Sir, did you also conduct an interview later with Paul Ferguson?
I did, yes, sir.
Okay, you did an interview with Mr. Ferguson, correct?
That is correct.
And how long after this event did you do your interview? Being at the house at this event, when you were at the house, how
Okay.
long afterwards?
Well, there's two separate interviews that I did with Paul Ferguson. One while we were at the home, and then one the next day at the police department.
I'm talking about, okay, that's the one the next day at the police department. You did an interview with him, took about 1 hour and 45 minutes, is that correct?
And you're referring specifically to the one at the police department?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't recall the amount of time it took, but certainly it was a lengthy interview.
Okay, and in the subject matter of the interview was what's going on at Paul's home, correct?
Correct, yes.
Do you remember that during the course of this interview, if at any time do you have to explain the gravity of the situation to Paul? Now, do you have to explain to him what's wrong here, what's going on here, why this is horrible, why this is terrible? You have to explain those things to Paul?
Not necessarily explain, but we did talk about the magnitude of what was happening.
And why did you do that? Why did you have to explain it to him?
That's a good question. I think
Was it
that
in response to his answers to your previous questions?
Yeah, I think that, that would be a good way to explain it.
He seemed to be minimizing. Would you say that? Minimizing how big a deal this was? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I certainly think that would be the case.
Would you agree that he seemed to be protecting his mother?
Certainly, I agree with that also.
Okay. And during the course of your interview, did you feel the need during the course of this interview to, for lack of a better term, have a come to Jesus moment with Paul, explain to him what's going on here, how serious it is?
I did have that conversation with Paul.
Okay. It was and tell me if I'm wrong, was it your impression that you needed to do that because he was minimizing what was going on? He was protecting his mom. That was the impression you got. Is that correct?
I believe that's factors in. Also, factors are that he wasn't. I didn't believe him to be entirely truthful about what we were talking about. But
Okay. No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Any redirect, Mr. Roberts?
I'm sorry, Judge. No redirect.
All right, officer, you can stand down. May this witness be excused, Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Your Honor, my apologies. If I may, I've got a couple questions if I may ask them.
Okay, any
All right.
objection, Mr. Roberts? Okay, go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Roberts, do we know which prosecutors these two are? Just those two? Yes, sir.
It's going to be six.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Also, when was the last time you were in my client's home?
I don't know. I don't know that date specifically.
Year and a half ago.
That sounds
Okay,
about right.
all right. And I ask you that because at one point you were asked a question if the refrigerators and the freezer and the cabinets had security locks on them. Do you remember that question?
I do remember that question.
And you recall, as I recall, your answer was yes, they did.
I said I wasn't certain about the cabinet, but
That's what I'm getting to. Can I show you photographs and that maybe refresh your recollection?
certainly.
Okay. I'm showing what's been marked, people's proposals that it's 9 and 6. Can you explain to the jury what those purport to be? Or what do you think that are? What's in those photographs?
So there were,
Are we refreshing this witness's recollection, or are we referring to the exhibits themselves?
We're refreshing his recollection.
Okay, well, typically, because they're not admitted, he can review them himself. Because they're not admitted, unless,
I think we had a stipulation. Essentially, these folks, the exhibits were already admitted, Judge. So.
okay, my understanding was there was a review of the exhibits, but there wasn't stipulated their admission yet, because Mr. Johnson didn't want to just agree to everything, but I could be wrong, Mr. Johnson. Are you agreeing to the admission of all the people's exhibits at this time?
Yes, Your Honor. We would stipulate to their admission.
Okay, all right
That's
then.
clear enough.
All right, just to make sure. All right, you
I think
proceed.
that'll make it much easier for
And
everybody.
if it helps, we can pull it up on the monitor. We're going to do that anyway with the next one.
I don't need that. I just want to refresh your recollection.
All right, go ahead, Mr.
You know what
Johnson.
those
Thank
pictures
you.
are? I asked that question. You know what those pictures are? You have any recollection of those pictures?
yeah, these are inside of her.
Okay, and part of the picture shows some of the cabinets in that home. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm specifically, I think, referring to a pantry and the refrigerator and the freezer. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
So,
So like, yeah, these cabinets, and then the refrigerator, but if there's a pantry, I think that's what the statement was referring to.
okay, so when you said there's a lot, you weren't referring to that cabinetry. Okay. Okay. Maybe I should ask you what you were referring to. That would be kind of novel. When you answer the question, were there locks on the freezer, refrigerator, and cabinets? What were you referring to in terms of the cabinets?
That's a great question. I'm referring to a statement made by her is what am I off based on what I'm talking about?
Okay.
I'm looking at, I asked her about the locks. She says,
All right.
so I'm referring to what her statement was.
And so, having gone through all this whole exercise, the bottom line is you're not sure about the cabinets, the pantry being locked. Is that what you're saying?
What I can say with certainty is that there are cabinets that were unlocked. The pantry, I don't recall if there was a lock or not on the pantry.
Thank you.
I don't know if we're question. I have a follow-up to that.
Yep, go ahead, Mr. Evans.
I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson asked you if you were going off of your observations or what Ms. Vander Ark told you. I want to focus on what she told you about the pantry. Did she make a statement to you that the pantry was unlocked? In other words, there was nothing to restrict access to that pantry.
She did make that statement.
Thanks.
Any thought for that, Mr. Johnson?
No, sir.
All right. Now may this witness be excused, Mr. Roberts? Okay, Mr. Johnson, is this witness excused, or would you like him to remain under subpoena?
Your Honor, we are prepared to excuse this witness.
Okay. Thank you, officer. You're excused. All right. Mr. Roberts, you can call your next witness.
My next witness is going to be Lieutenant Hooksma, and I am going to connect to the monitor now.
Okay.
Are we in D or G?
We're in D.
D?
Yep.
I can do it, but I don't. Pivot the monitor a little bit, so there's a-
wanna,
once we connect, I don't.
He's not in yet.
Okay.
It's connecting right now. It says-
Oh, is it? Okay. If you want to angle it, I can probably hook him up. If you want to angle the TV now, I'll hook him up when he gets in it. So, okay. Raise your right hand. In this matter now pending, you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God.
I do.
All right, put your hand down, grab a seat. Please state your name for the record, spelling your first name and last name.
Lieutenant Joel Hooksema, JoelHoekesema.
Can the members of the jury see that okay? Would it help if we dim the lights at all, or
Dimming the lights a little bit.
dim the lights a little bit? Can you do that, Mr. Cleaver?
There, that's.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Mr. Roberts.
Technology is actually working. Let's get this done as quickly as we can. Yes, sir, could you state your occupation for the record, please?
I'm a patrol lieutenant with the City of Norton Shores Police Department.
He was sworn in, right?
Yes, he was. I want to make sure. Can you see it at the exhibit on?
Yes, yep, it's working, thank you.
Lieutenant, I want to direct your attention back to July 6th of 2022, where you're working in capacity at that time as a detective sergeant for the City of Norton Shores Police Department.
I was.
And as detective sergeant, were you essentially the officer or the detective in charge of this investigation?
I was.
Your role as detective sergeant, is that the head of the other detectives assigned to the Norton Shores Police Department?
Correct.
And since that time, you've been promoted actually to the rank of lieutenant. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So again, working back to July 6th of 2022, did you become involved in the investigation into the events that had taken place at 4788 Marshall Road in the city of Norton Shores, County of Muskegon, state of Michigan?
I did.
And did you actually go to that location?
I did.
All right, we're going to go through some photographs for the jury. For the record, these have already been stipulated to as People's Exhibits 1 through 32. They're sequential. The physical copies for the jury have the exhibit numbers on them. We'll go through them one by one for the officer so the jury can see them on the monitors. So, we're looking here at what is going to be People's Exhibit number 1. I'm going to lose count at some point with the exhibits. I know I will, but People's Exhibit 1, what are we looking at in that photograph, Lieutenant?
That is the home where the incident occurred.
And People's Exhibit 2?
That is looking at the front door of the home into the home. And
in that image, you can see 2 sets of stairs, one going up, one going down. That's the bi-level nature of this home. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And when you arrived on that scene, did you go both to the upper and lower portions of that home?
I first went to the lower portion, then I did go to the upper portion.
Why did you go to it seems obvious, but why did you go to the lower portion first?
That's where the deceased was located.
But you did have an occasion to observe both the upstairs and downstairs of that home. Is that correct?
Correct.
And is that substantially, some of these photographs are taken on 2 different days. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, during the course of this, did you conduct 2 separate searches of that home pursuant to a search warrant?
Yes,
And is that the reason why we have photographs from 2 different days?
that's correct.
But you have had an opportunity to review all those photographs in preparation for trial today, and would you agree that those are a fair and accurate depiction of the home as it appeared to you on both July 6th and was the second search warrant on July 7th?
It was correct.
And that's the condition in which the home appeared at the time so that you were there on July 6th and July 7th?
Yes.
So People's Exhibit number 3, what are we looking at in that photograph?
That's the lower level of the home, what's been referred to as the common area. Just a main room in the lower level where the deceased was located.
All right, and we can see a sheet here. I know you can't necessarily see what I'm pointing at with the laser pointer, but there's a sheet on the floor on the bottom left-hand portion of that photograph. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that where the deceased was located when this photograph was taken?
Yes, he is under that sheet.
And what are we looking at in this photograph?
That is the same room, just a different angle. You can still see the deceased underneath that sheet, just showing the general appearance of the room.
And the sheet right here, that's the sheet covering the deceased. And is this after the home is searched, or is this the condition it was in when you first observed it?
That is the condition it was in when we first arrived.
And looking on the right side of that, there is what appears to be a bunk bed there. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I think we have another photograph of that, but was it your understanding that was Timothy Ferguson's bed?
That is what we have been told, yes.
And what are we looking at in this image?
That is the upper bunk of that loft bed or bunk bed that we spoke of.
And that's, I believe that's another Norton Shores officer that we can see there with a mask on. And beyond that, there's what appears to be another room there. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And it's the testimony has been thus far that there are 2 bedrooms. Actually, there's the common area, a bathroom, and 2 bedrooms, and a small closet in the lower level. Is that correct?
Yes,
And you observed both of those bedrooms?
I did.
And was it your understanding that those bedrooms belonged to one to Paul Ferguson and one to the minor child, G?
That's correct.
And so we're looking at the top bunk and looking towards one of those bedrooms. Is that correct?
That is correct. That would be G's bedroom.
All right. And what are we looking at in this next photograph?
That is the upper level of the home, the kitchen.
And again, looking at this photograph, is this taken prior to any search actually taking place?
No, this was the scene of the home as we found it.
So the items all strewn about are not, you see on television, police officers going in and emptying drawers and throwing stuff around. Did any of that occur prior to this photograph being taken?
No, we don't operate that way. We take care of the property that we're searching.
There's going to be a better view of it, but on the extreme right side of that photograph is what appears to be a refrigerator. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you can see, we'll get to it in we'll get to the next photograph anyway. Here, are we looking at another view of that photograph?
It is another view of that refrigerator.
And so that's a bottom freezer, so refrigerator where the refrigerator is on top and the freezer portion is on the bottom. Is that correct?
Correct.
And there appears to be a lock on the bottom portion of that, or 2 locks there actually, but one lock with the front connection point on that freezer. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And is this the upper portion, the refrigerator portion?
Yes.
All right, and that also appears to be a lock as well with a keyhole, correct?
Yep. Correct.
And is that just a wider shot of, so you can see both the upper and lower portion of that refrigerator?
That's correct.
There's a door slightly ajar there. Where does that door go to?
That's what's been referred to as the pantry.
And what are we looking at in this photograph?
Another view of the kitchen area. You can see the stairs leading down to the main entrance, as well as a chest freezer.
And there's a, next to the freezer, it appears to be a coat rack, is that right?
Yes.
And there's a large white tub there. Do you recall what was located in that tub?
I believe it was dog food.
So those are the stairs that the stair rail we can see there. Those are the stairs that come up from the front door.
Yes.
And immediately then to your right, as you come up those stairs, is that door to the pantry, correct?
Correct.
And what are we looking at in that image?
That's the chest freezer that we just had looked at with the lock on it, the black lock.
And what are we looking at in this image?
There's a photograph of the inside of the refrigerator and portions of the freezer.
And by all accounts, it looks like there's quite a healthy amount of food contained in that portion of the refrigerator. Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely.
Condiments on the door, milk on the door, other items, pickles, more mayonnaise, lots of items inside that refrigerator.
Very well stocked.
And is that the freezer drawer portion?
That is the freezer.
And you can see pizza rolls, some type of frozen mac and cheese, a couple of boxes of frozen mac and cheese, and some type of packaged meat, as well as other items in that freezer, correct?
Yes, many options.
And what are we looking at in this?
That's the inside of the chest freezer, showing all the food available in there.
So there's some frozen chicken, there's some desserts in there, there's some bread, all
Yes.
visible in that image.
Correct.
Again, this and the refrigerator and the freezer all had locks on them, correct?
Correct.
And what are we looking at in this image?
That's that closet pantry door that was just to the right of the refrigerator near the stairs and the inside of the pantry area.
And again, there's more food items in there. There's canned soup, cereal, multiple items inside that location. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I think we're back downstairs now. So can you tell the jury what we're looking at in this image?
This is the first search warrant at the home. To the right of the screen, you can see the bunk bed that was designated as the deceased bunk bed. And then the small room door, the closet under the stairs.
And at the very top right portion of that door, can you describe to the jury what we're looking at there?
On the top right of the door is an alarm, which appeared to me to be activated whenever that door would be opened.
We have a close-up of that in the next image. That's the alarm sensor?
Correct. You can see the one sensor part on the door jam and the other sensor part on the door. So when the door is opened, it would trigger.
Now, let's talk for just a moment, because you referenced it just a moment ago. You said that these photographs specifically, these two exhibits were taken during the execution of the first search warrant at the home. Is that correct?
Correct.
So that was the search warrant that was executed on July 6th, correct?
That is correct.
That's the date that Timothy Ferguson's body was located in the home.
Correct.
And following the conclusion of the execution of the search warrant and all the interviews that were taking place, was Ms. Vander Ark placed in custody at that point in time?
She was not.
Or was she free to remain in the home the night of July 6th leading into July 7th?
She was.
And what are we looking at in this next photograph?
That is the inside of the small room.
And you refer to it as a small room. Is that throughout the course of this investigation, did you come to recognize that as being referred to as the small room by Ms. Vander Ark as well as Paul Ferguson?
That is correct.
And there's a tarp in there and a box in there. Was anything else located in this room?
That was it, just the tarp in that box.
And what was the overall physical condition of that room based on your observations at the time that you were there?
When we opened the door to that room, there was an overpowering odor of urine. Very offensive smell coming from that room.
And is this just another view of that looking down at the tarp that you had referred to?
Correct.
And what are we looking at with this image here?
That is a view from the inside of the door for the small room. The door is open, and that is what would be on the inside of the room.
And it appears that there's a crack in the door. Is that correct?
It does.
This next image is that the other side of that door?
Correct. That would be the opposite side of the door, also noting the damage to the door, the crack.
Now, this next photograph appears to be the same area that appears in the earlier exhibit. Is that correct?
Yes.
But what's different? It's obvious, but what's different about this photograph than the earlier photograph?
The alarm for the door is missing.
And when was this photograph taken?
This photograph was taken on the July the 7th when we executed the second search warrant the next day.
So this was taken after Ms. Vander Ark was allowed to remain in the home the night after the execution of the first search warrant, correct?
That's correct.
And when you go back for the search warrant on the second day, the alarm that you had previously observed has been removed from the door,
That is correct.
and you photographed it for that reason.
Yes, I recognize that it was missing, so I photographed it.
And then working backwards is just that same door, but just showing it without the alarm, and on the second day when you went back.
That is correct.
And what are we looking at in this image?
That is a view of the bathroom on the lower level.
And specifically on that countertop there, on the bathroom counter, there appears to be some type of camera. Is that right?
Yes, there is.
And you've heard Officer Steffanich's testimony earlier today about a camera that appeared to be motion activated or following when he was in the bathroom. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Is that camera?
That is.
And what are we looking at there?
I had stepped further into the bathroom and took that photograph. So the vanity to the left side looking into the toilet shower area.
And Officer Steffanich noted, and you can see in that photograph, is there a shower curtain on the shower?
There is no shower curtain.
And the camera is just off to the, now in this image, it's just off to on the left side of the screen. Is that correct?
That's correct.
But if it's motion activated, it stands to reason that a person in the shower or on the toilet, that camera could turn to track their movements in the bath and or on the toilet.
It'd certainly be in view of it, yes.
And what image are we looking at here?
This is the vanity within that lower level bathroom that we had previously looked at.
Now, if you look back, the camera is no longer in the second image. Was the camera taken as part of the search warrant?
It was.
And so now we're looking down at the vanity, and what, if anything, did you note in terms of the investigation here in that photograph?
Unusual items for a bathroom vanity, such as a bottle of hot sauce and a bag of zip ties.
And the hot sauce is right here, and the zip tie is right here. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Just keep moving for just a little bit. And what are we looking at in this photograph?
That's a close-up of the bottle of hot sauce.
Extreme Regret, Scorpion, Carolina Reaper hot sauce.
That's correct. Screaming hot.
Screaming hot, yeah. And was this taken into evidence?
It was.
And what are we looking at in this next image?
Those would be the leg shackles that were found in the lower level of the home.
This is probably a good time. You brought some other physical exhibits with you. If we could go ahead and just have those marked at this point, and I'll let you know what to mark. What.
What items would you like out?
Let's start with the hot sauce.
Bathroom hot sauce?
Well, there's two it's my understanding you have two types of hot sauce there. Is that correct?
Yeah, one that was located in the bathroom, one that was located on the kitchen floor.
We'll go ahead and mark that first hot sauce, the bathroom one, number 38.
Would you like these removed from the bags?
I think the jury can see, at least with the hot sauce one, I think we can leave that one as is. So we'll mark that one as number 38. And this is, for the record, this is the hot sauce that was removed from the bathroom vanity.
Correct.
Permission to publish to the jury? These have been admitted.
By stipulation.
Okay, now this next item are shackles. We'll go ahead and mark those as number 41. Are these the shackles that we can see in that photograph there?
That is correct.
And maybe this is a clumsy way to ask the question, but what type of shackles are those? What are we talking about in terms of material?
They are metal shackles, appear to be of the same quality and type that we would use in our employment as police officers.
And does the handcuff key that you would typically carry open these shackles?
Yes.
Keep that with the envelope. All right, what else do we have?
Cameras. Hot sauce.
This is the second bottle of hot sauce that you recovered from the residents?
Correct.
Well, to save us from all the rattling of the wrapping of the paperbacks, because they get those to the microphones. Always, no problem. June, this trial is the Shanda. I never know if I say her name right, and she's such a horrible lady. I don't try, but this is a Shanda Vander Ark trial. It happened in December of 2023. I streamed it when it happened originally. I'm restreaming it because she has asked for a new court trial, and she is on trial right now for starving and basically torturing her 15-year-old son to death. Her and his older brother, Paul, who we will hear from later. Timothy weighed 69 pounds at 15 years old when he passed away. And it's just a really, really sad case. It's awful. Like my banner says at the bottom, they don't show Timothy. That's one good thing. Like, I love this judge because he will not allow any photos of Timothy to be shown. And he's very careful and very respectful of Timothy and Timothy's memory. This prosecutor's really good. The defense attorney, I know people don't care for him much. I think he's doing the best with what he can. He doesn't have anything to work with. She's an awful client. But he does have a job to do. I think he's a super nice guy. And just an awful case. I watched interviews with him after I originally saw this, and he's nice. But yeah, I wish I could see this judge and this prosecutor in other trials. I just haven't seen any that have them yet. So, but yeah, this judge is amazing. I hope that. Sorry, my mind is like going in 1,000 different ways right now. So I hope that I explained it. I apologize if I didn't. If you have a question, just put it in the chat, and one of us will get it. It's a tough trial. This is a tough trial. I will say that, and it makes me angry. And I've already went through it once today to get timestamps, and I'm just like, now I'm going through it again. And it's like, but I have caught some things I didn't catch before, which, happens. And it's, so that's interesting.
This is the hot sauce that was located on the floor of the kitchen.
Same type of hot sauce, this one located in the kitchen area, is that correct? We'll have this one marked and previously admitted as People's 39.
Oh man, sorry, that paper is so bad.
Zip ties.
And the zip ties are People's Exhibit number 40. Yes, sir.
I can have Mr. Ruger collect those if
Oh,
you want to
okay.
continue.
I think they're just about done. I just wanted to make sure everybody had an opportunity to look at those before we move to the. Yeah, there's two more. I believe it's the second hot sauce and the zip ties making their way around. So
I don't want to hold you up on questioning, so.
I wanted everybody to have an opportunity to look at them before we moved on anyway, such so. The jury's had an opportunity to, I think, observe all of those there. Do you need just a moment to put those back in the bag? And again, for the record, those were people's exhibits. People's exhibits 38 and 39 were hot sauce, exhibit 40 was the zip ties, and exhibit 41 was the light shackles, all previously admitted by stipulation. All right, moving on with our exhibits here and photographs, what are we looking at in this photograph?
So that is still in that large common room in the basement of the home, or the lower level of the home, kind of a knee wall there, and you can see a camera sitting on top of a software box, it appears.
And was that projecting out to some area in the
Yeah,
common area?
that specific camera was looking at the area of Timothy's bunk bed and the door to the small room.
And this next image?
Those are some keys that were found in the home.
And there's a number of remote controls attached to those. What do those appear to be?
It was my understanding that those remote controls could activate the sensor alarms that were on the doors.
And this next image?
That's an ice maker that was in the kitchen countertop.
And the next image there?
Same ice maker, just full of ice.
Now, Lieutenant, at some point, there were some cell phones seized from the residence, is that correct?
That is correct.
Including a cell phone belonging to Ms. Vander Ark.
That is correct.
And did you have an opportunity, as part of the investigation, did the Norton Shores Police Department perform an extraction of that cell phone?
Yes.
And it seems obvious, but what is the purpose of extracting information from that cell phone?
Often cell phones can contain evidence of the crime that we're investigating.
Your Honor, for this next portion, we've discussed already that Lieutenant Hooksma and Detective Aum will be reading a portion of the text messages So I think we're prepared to do that at this point in time. This will be, for the record, this is going to be previously stipulated to being admitted as People's Exhibit number 36, and this is an excerpt of those text messages. And you've had an opportunity to review those text messages, is that correct?
I have.
And these text messages come directly from the extraction of the cell phone that was performed on Shanda Vander Ark's cell phone, is that correct?
Correct.
And you've had an opportunity to review these, and did these depict different moments in time from February to July of 2022, a conversation or conversations, I should say, between Shanda Vander Ark and Paul Ferguson?
That is correct.
So if we only need one more chair up there, actually, is what we're going to need.
Mr. Roberts, so
Yes, sir.
Detective Hooksma is going to be playing the part of the defendant, I believe you said, or is it?
No, actually, Detective Alm will be reading the defendant's portion, and Lieutenant Hooksma will be reading Paul
Paul
Ferguson's
Ferguson. Okay,
portion.
all right. All right, we just need a chair. I got an extra one, I think.
So if you didn't catch it, they're going to be reading
So
text
just so the
messages.
jury understands,
He'll explain. Sorry.
usually a witness can read both parts. It can get a little confusing, obviously, because it's the same voice. So the parties have stipulated essentially that Detective Hooksma will be reading the text messages of Paul Ferguson, and Detective Alm, who is coming up as of now, is reading the part of the defendant. I think we probably should swear her in. So Detective.
Ms. Gilmore just pointed that out, Judge. I think
Yeah.
that's probably a good idea for this portion.
All right, Detective Alm, in the matter now pending, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, put your hand down, grab a seat. Please state your name for the record, spelling your first name and last name.
My first name is Stephanie, Stephanie. Last is Alm, ALM.
All right, you may proceed, Mr. Roberts.
Your Honor, can we get the lights on?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Does that help? Does that get you right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, for the record, you'll be reading verbatim the text messages between Shanda Vander Ark and Paul Ferguson. And we've also taken some lengths to make sure that you're identifying the dates and approximate times where these text messages are being sent. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And
It'll
we'll
be,
If we move to a different day, there's an indication there so the jury understands what days we're talking about, correct?
that's correct.
I believe you could begin.
First, rude, and second, why are his hands free? And what did he get into that he felt he needed to brush his teeth to hide it?
Sorry, I don't know he was up.
What do you mean you didn't know he was up? Has he not been?
I don't think we got a date.
Oh, yeah.
Of this particular
Oh.
section, so before we get into it, no, the date.
The date is 2/18/2022.
Thank you.
First, rude, and second, why are his hands free? And what did he get into that he felt he needed to brush his teeth to hide it?
Sorry, I didn't know he was up.
What do you mean you didn't know he was up? Has he not been upstairs against the wall?
No,
What? Why the heck not?
I just didn't.
What the heck has he been doing?
According to him, he's just been setting. I don't know though. I didn't know he was awake.
Find out what he has snuck right the heck now, because I know he has snuck stuff since you weren't doing what you were supposed to. What do you mean you didn't know he was awake? You both should have been awake at 10:30. I am not happy. You know he wasn't just sitting there. Check the brownies in the kitchen. Check everything not locked away. Check where the flipping keys have been.
I already checked everything. And that
Break moving on to a different date.
Correct. That concludes that section. The next date is February the 28th.
And check his breath. I can almost guarantee he's eaten something. He was chewing on something when he walked downstairs. You and I will be talking about this on a later date when we're both home.
Yes, he grabbed chips. I know.
The break there?
Yes, the next text thread starts on March the 4th at 8:59 p.m. KK.
Can I approach?
All right, they went to a sidebar. Sidebar. It's not very long. Also, one thing I forgot to tell you that this just ends abruptly at times. Like the stream just cuts off. It's very strange. It's like, I don't know if the cameraman's day was over, camera woman, camera person, whatever. Clock out, like time to go home. Doesn't matter. Court's over for that person. It's over for us too.
Maybe 10 minutes. So I'll have you up if you're tired of the jury room. Please rise.
It was the strangest thing. Pedal tab. Don't think there's anything else right here.
All right, maybe seated. Just for purposes of the record, Mr. Roberts and Mr. Johnson had a sidebar with the court. Mr. Johnson indicated there's
Or what? Sorry.
client was suffering some distress, specifically a panic attack, and he asked for 5 minutes. I think that's reasonable. So at this point in time, court is going to take a brief recess. Mr. Johnson, just please let the bailiff know when your client is well enough to proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, we're in recess.
I didn't buy it when I saw it the first time. I don't buy it now. I didn't buy it when I saw it the second time later. Third time seeing it, I don't buy it anymore. Don't cry about it now. You did it. You said it. Not yet, Pedal Town, but almost. They'll come back, and what's going to happen is they're going to come back. They're going to read. I think the judge might finally tell her to spit her gum out, which I loved. And then they're going to read. They're going to read a couple more messages, and then it's just going to cut off.
We're back in the reckoning, 23110FC, People's State of Michigan versus Shanda Vander Ark. Mr. Johnson, is your client well enough to proceed at this time?
I believe so, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything before we bring the jury out, Mr. Roberts?
Where do you want to restart, I guess? They were in the middle of their testimony, and I don't know what part got interrupted, so.
I think we were on the third date, I thought.
Third of March.
I've got it, there on, the pages are sequential because of the printout. They're not sequential in what they're reading because there's some gaps. I have them on page 4227.
Okay,
Was that
thank you.
sound accurate to you, Mr.?
That's fine. with me.
Okay, anything else before we bring the jury out? Mr. Roberts?
Yes, I do anticipate at some point and we'll probably get to that point right before lunch, and it's a logical stopping point. It's a couple of days ahead in the testimony, but there's an image that gets sent to Ms. Vander Ark.
Okay,
We discussed this previously. This is an image of Mr. Ferguson when he's alive.
okay,
But it was sent to her to demonstrate the concerns that Paul Ferguson had about his condition. And I do intend to project that so the jury can see that there's a photograph associated with those particular text messages. So I would ask to reconnect to the monitors, and those photographs are going to be admitted. When we get to that portion of the text messages, though, that presents itself as a likely stopping point for the lunch break. It'll probably take about 15, 20 minutes to get to that.
okay, so we're going to, your intention is to put the image on the screen
Yes,
of Mr. Ferguson?
yes, he's alive. This is why he's alive, Judge. So As I indicated, any of the images that we have of him while he's deceased are going to go privately to the jury and not be projected on the screen.
I think my preference in respect for Mr. Ferguson is not to publish that on the screen because we are broadcasting here. I don't think that's appropriate or respectful to him. I don't mind if the jury sees that, if it's published to them in private, but I don't think that's appropriate based on we have TV or we have cameras in the courtroom.
All right,
So
well, I have them printed, so when we get to that point, Judge, I will just ask to present them to the jury. Those are, for the record, those are going to be 36A and B, because they relate directly to exhibit number 36. So these are sub-exhibit of that exhibit, 36A and B.
Okay.
That I will present to the jury at that time when we get to that text message. And again, when we get to that point, I think that would probably be a good point to stop for the lunch break.
okay, all right. Anything to say on that, Mr. Johnson?
We're supportive of the court's position, not that it makes a difference, but we do support it, and I think that's the appropriate resolution for that particular issue.
Okay, Mr. Johnson, I did notice your client is chewing gum. Is that something that is necessary?
No, sir.
Okay, would you have her please spit that out?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank you.
All right, with that, let's bring the jury in. All right, please rise.
Kathy. I do not remember all these sirens. Here comes the judge. This jury takes so long to get in and out. Let's go. What more could you ask for in a trial?
Hey, you may be seated. Yeah. All right. Detective Alm and Hooksman, you are still under oath. Mr. Roberts, you can proceed.
Thank you. I believe we were at page 4227, so why don't you just take it from the top of 4227?
This is on March the 3rd at 8:59 PM. KK.
So how has he been disobedient?
He just won't listen or does something I didn't tell him he could. He just tried claiming his zip cuffs were too tight when I didn't even tighten them to where there's no room for his wrists.
Leave them as they are, and I will check them when I get home, and you can tell him that. And if he lied about that, he gets himself in even more trouble.
Uh-oh.
One of your anger outbursts that you're talking about?
That's it. And perfect timing. I thought my power just went out because it is just starting to storm here. I saw a flash. I was like, holy crap. Then I saw Paul Ferguson. Yeah. Whew. We're done. We're done. Adair, we're taking a little break from Betty, but don't you worry. Adair doesn't like Betty. We're going back to Betty in about a week. Holy crap. All right. Well, the lightning is lightning, and I really don't want to be sitting here connected to all this stuff while that's happening. Perfect timing. So I'm going to go ahead and go. We will pick up on day one, part 2 on Monday. It'll be, I thought about going a little bit longer tonight. One, obviously my decision was made, but 2, it's grandma. I couldn't get over before grandma started, and I didn't want to run into her time. So Monday will be probably a little bit longer, but we will hear from Paul Ferguson, which is the other person charged in this. We will hear from him on Monday, and we will hear the rest of the text messages. So there's that. And I have like written all this out. We should end up right, like, if they don't have a hearing on the 25th that we get to watch, well, I've done all this for nothing. But we're doing it anyway, just in case they do show it. And I hope it's in front of this judge. But we should be able to do everything. I have, I've got it all. I've got it all. So, hey, Ash, how you doing? So that's the plan going forward. So Monday at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Time, we will carry on and get through it. So you guys all, if you have a name storm, stay safe. Puddletown, have a happy birthday. Have a good weekend, everyone. And I'll see you guys all on Monday. If you don't have anything else to do tonight, I don't know what Grandma's doing, but she's a fun and she's a fun lady. She plays lots of fun games, and she starts at 9 Eastern Time. So you can go hang out with her if you need something to do. And hey, Shinny, I hope you heard that I said we'll go back to Betty because I won't leave you hanging on that. So we will return to Betty. Thank you, June. Thank you for stopping by. I've seen you over on Ada's channel. I lurk. I lurk a lot. I don't chat a lot generally on other channels. It's weird. I'm shy, but I'm generally there. So I'm always in the background. But you guys have a good. Oh yeah, Shani. It's just getting started. Like I said, it'll make Betty seem like a saint. And then I said a tainted saint. Puddletown didn't even catch it. Grandma is Grandma's house. So she does all kinds of trivia, and like I said, I don't know what she's doing tonight. Gabby's a mod over there. I think Puddletown's a mod over there. I'm not sure, but she's fun. There are kids there, so obviously you got to keep your chat and clean and check. Ash is over there. I think Ash is a mod over there as well. I don't know if Ash is a mod or not. I don't know, but they all are there. So, and Grandma is great. She is super nice, and yeah, I don't know what else to say about her. So, all right, you guys. I'll see you guys all on Monday.